It's not on the official agenda, but it's certainly on top of mind for EU leaders. Europe's energy crunch and the threat of Russia further cutting supplies.
This is a new dimension. This is an attack on us, an economic attack. If we go into winter with storage tanks that are only half full and the gas tap is turned off, then we are talking about a severe economic crisis that will hit Germany.
EU nations are scrambling to shield themselves by finding alternative suppliers.
We have signed a memorandum of understanding of natural gas delivery from Israel to Egypt, here the liquefying of the gas and then the transport to the European Union. This is a big step forward in the energy supply to Europe, but also for Egypt to become a regional energy hub.
The EU wants to tap 2 billion cubic meters of natural gas from Israel. Under the deal, the natural gas will be transferred to Egypt via an existing pipeline. It will then be converted to liquefied natural gas and shipped to the EU from the Alexandria port. But Moscow is also stepping up pressure. Last week, it cut gas flows to Germany, France, Italy and other European countries. Being starved of Russian oil and gas, energy-hungry Germany is resorting to emergency measures, even breaking with its own policies. That's as the government has ordered firing up highly polluting coal plants it wanted to shut down. The move, followed by the Netherlands and Austria, is at odds with Germany's target to phase out coal by 2030. But the International Energy Agency says it's justified and has even suggested it keeps aging nuclear power stations open. This could provide some respite from tight supplies and surging energy prices, which rose nearly 40% last month alone. Although energy shortages and a record inflation are testing the EU's determination, members say they won't back down on sanctions, even if it means Russian retaliation. Sibel Karkus, TRT World, Berlin.
For more on this now, Bob Ward joins me live from London. He's a Policy and Communications Director at the London School of Economics. Many thanks for being with us today.
Hi.
So, as Europe is getting worried about a total shutdown, some European governments are reconsidering coal. We've just heard it. It's one of the dirtiest and most polluting ways of producing energy. How worrying is the situation really?
Well, this is an energy crisis for much of Europe. The dependence on Russian fossil fuels is proving to be a great threat to security, not just because the Russian invasion of Ukraine has led to a big increase in the price, but of course the direct supplies of gas and oil from Russia are now under threat. And so Germany and other countries are now desperately looking for alternatives. And at the moment, Germany and some of the Eastern European countries still have domestic supplies of coal that they could burn in some of their existing coal-fired power stations, which they've been trying to phase out. So it's completely understandable that faced with this, a choice between having no energy and having energy generated by coal, that they're choosing to burn coal, at least in the short term.
Interesting. And just a question about timing, really, because Germany said they will need to burn more coal, but this is going to be a transitional period. What does it mean, really? How long could this transition be, provided that this winter the situation might get extremely difficult?
Well, Germany has set a target of making its power system completely clean by 2035 by having only renewable energy. It's trying to phase out its nuclear power plants. It does have the option of extending the life of some of its nuclear power plants, but it hasn't yet made that decision. But it really does depend on whether we have a cold, long winter in Europe. Part of the reason Europe is in this situation is that the winter in 2020 was colder and longer than expected, and it depleted the existing stores of natural gas, and therefore led to the situation where the price went up, and then Russia's invasion of Ukraine has created a real crisis. So we will have to wait and see. I don't think anybody's expecting the problems we're currently seeing to be solved very quickly, and we could see this going at least into next year, if not beyond. And it could become really critical in the winter if it is a cold, long winter in Europe.
Interesting, Bob. And are there other alternatives in the medium term? And what are they?
Well, the alternatives that they're exploring are other sources of natural gas. At the moment, a lot of the supplies of Russian gas and oil come through pipelines, and it's very convenient. But you can also ship it from other areas. The United States has increased its exports of gas, but it is more expensive and more difficult to do that because you have to convert the gas, you have to freeze it, turn it into a liquid before you can ship it. Other countries like Qatar also are increasing their exports, and they're looking at other countries around the world that might be able to supply natural gas to replace European gas. But in the long run, it's really about moving to clean domestic supplies of energy, increasing the rollout of wind and solar, and also then increasing the deployment of electric vehicles, which can reduce the dependence on imports of oil.
Right. Bob Ward, many thanks for this interesting update.
Thank you.